All our classmates, spouses, teachers, and guests. I do want to thank our committee, my lovely wife, Cindy, Joanne Brown, Nancy Urban, Tina Malcolm, Carol Kaminsky, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, Joe Coughlin, and we had a nice assist at one meeting from Ross Sorsey and my cousin Alan Alimo. Thanks, guys. We want to give Joe a special thanks for last night. I think everybody who was there really enjoyed it. And I believe Joe actually smiled a couple of times last night. I'm not sure, but I think he did. Just a few comments on the committee. Nancy Urban, Naporowski, has now become Nancy Drew, by the way. So any of you that got harassing phone calls or letters in the mail, that was Nancy. She was actually great. She tracked down a lot of folks. We didn't get them all here, but the whole idea was to get the word out. And she did a great job of doing that. Thanks, Nancy. I don't know where you are. Hey! But, we had a lot of communications with the committee, and I know in some of my harassing emails to you, I described some of it. But our first meeting was a little brunch on Super Bowl Sunday. Started kind of nice. There was a snowstorm, so everybody had to sneak out. Then our second meeting was a very tough one. I got to tell you, we had a tasting here at the Colony where Jeff got all his stuff out and said, "Hey, here's what we're trying." And gee, we took everything. Nothing was rejected, by the way. And then the last two meetings we had up at our house in Fredonia, and we had happy hour meetings. And I was the amateur mixologist, and so we, enjoyed some whiskey sours and Manhattans and martinis. And actually, Nancy loves Manhattans now. And we want to thank Jeff and Scott for putting on this great dinner for us. Jeff's never been to a reunion because the business he's in, and he's had this for 34 years. So,
Can we bring it to him?
Yes, our good friend Charlie Hannum said it right off the bat. He said, "Jeff can't ever make a reunion, so we're bringing it to him." And we've got a bunch of stuff to give away here. But also Karen O'Brien, thank you. She donated some stuff for us to give away. And besides Jeff, we have one first-time attendee that I know of, Mr. Robert Tucker. Thanks, Bobby. Now, we had a bunch of classmates that we were in contact with, but just couldn't make it. Frank Palka. Frank was one that Nancy chased down. And he did call and wanted to give everybody his greetings and tell you have a good time. Pat Lord, Pat always comes. The gal's in the last 5 years has lived in Hawaii twice, Korea, and Napa Valley. So and she's in Hawaii, and it was a little tough for her to make it. Valerie Jonas is in Celebration, Florida. She sends her regards. Debbie O'Brien is out in California. By the way, Val said she lives right near Disney World. So if anybody wants to go there, I don't know what she was getting herself into, but she said, "Hey, I'm right there, stop in." So, Celebration, Florida. Okay. Debbie O'Brien is out in California. Joan Stauffer, Richard Cole, Steve Brown's in Maryland. He also sent his regards. And then two classmates we should kind of certainly keep in our thoughts and prayers. Carol Melanzi. Carol's in Syracuse, and she's had one kidney transplant, and she's waiting on another one, right? Deb? Yeah. And also Darlene Alimo is waiting on a lung transplant, and Darlene would love to be here but can't. So please keep those classmates, in your thoughts and prayers. So I had a little list here. We got classmates from, and if I miss any state, let me know. Arizona, California, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Maine, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia, and Washington. I think that's it. Pretty good, 20 states. We've lost 17 classmates that we know about, by the way. So this year we had a tree planted up at the high school. It is a King Crimson maple tree, and we're also going to have a plaque engraved from our class. We have a photo of it, I believe, over here, where the location is, and our buddy Jim Joy is going to help us with that plaque. He found a nice piece of stone to get engraved that'll kind of help our budget, I want to say, but Jim, I think it'll last 100 years, you said. So, that, by the way, that'll cover all of us, I think. But listen, I think we should just have a little moment of silence and remember our classmates. Carol Gatoka, by the way, ran this for us, and we want to give her a big thanks. Carol was a big part of the team here, but she had a family commitment, and she and Wally had to get to, so she could not attend, but she, I want to say, did yeoman's work on this thing. Just planting the tree up at the high school required letters of intent, board meetings, board approvals, maintenance meetings. You'd have thought we were putting in a forest and building a paper plant up there. I mean, it was nuts. But she, as we all know, Carol, persevered and got the job done. So she really did a wonderful job. We have some of our teachers here tonight. So I want to tell all you thanks. Gary Woodbury, our chemistry teacher, thank you. I always want to thank you for letting us use that periodic table on our test, too. Thanks. It was a great help. And his wife, Robin Terrell Woodbury. She was the most politest person when she told me to leave her classroom. I thought that was very nice of her. And we have Mr. Conrad Pavlak. Hey, nobody could explain an isosceles triangle, or by the way, I had to look these up, a parallelogram, or a quadrilateral with such ease and passion. Thank you, Mr. Pavlak. Yes. And then we have our English teacher, Mr. Joe Clarko. Yes. We were trying to figure out, I think he was our advisor one year, and then he dumped us. Good thinking, Joe, by the way. And he did say, I will not bring my red pen. You didn't bring that red pen, did you? No, okay, thank you. So, we're going to give just a couple of things away now, by the way. Our first reservation was Sue Light. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Sue lives in Chappaqua, New York. And she was well known there before the Clintons got there. She's very famous. Our last reservation, which I recorded, by the way, we had a deadline of June 20th, right? I got a Facebook message from Nikki McNaughton at 11:15 p.m. So she was our last. Now there's other reservations, but this was within the time frame. Thanks, Nikki. Okay, then we had travel the farthest. So I look on the map, and it looks to me that Vancouver, Washington should be the farthest. But then I looked at Windsor, California,